This is Neil Schneider for MTBS-TV. I'm at Dimension Technologies Inc.'s headquarters. To my immediate left, is Tom Curtin, Director of Business Development. Welcome to the program, Tom.
Thank you, Neil. Thanks for coming down to visit us today.
It's my pleasure, my pleasure. So you've got a long history at DTI. I mean, DTI as a company has a long history. What can you tell me about the company?
Well, the company began over 25 years ago, and it really was due to a breakthrough, what we felt was a breakthrough at the time, of developing a glasses-free 3D display that at the time, in the late 1980s, early 1990s, there was really nothing else out there like that.
So this is 80s, 90s that you did development in this area?
Very first box that you see actually in the headquarters, you'll see that we have a set that was developed, I believe 1989 was it when it was first debuted.
Wow. So yeah, in modern 3D, I mean, when I think of modern 3D, I think of it like in the late 2000s, like 2007, 2008 was kind of like the heyday of modern 3D with the glasses and so on. But obviously you've had an early history in this. Can you talk a bit about some of the products that you were involved with?
Certainly. Most of the development was under the auspice of NASA. So DTI began developing glasses-free displays for use by NASA in flight simulators, and also as a development technology for eventual use in cockpits. So the idea was always that the pilot, co-pilot would be able to look at a display and get information from the display in 3D, have access to greater levels of information while they're flying. Greater situational awareness is what how NASA like to describe it. And therefore, because they're getting more information, they believed that there would be better decision making, especially in moments of truth when people had to make decisions in real time when situations could be in crisis mode.
So I take it was important that the 3D looked good and always looked good.
It's always been DTI's goal to deliver as much of an uncompromised 3D viewing experience as possible. So we've always been dealing with the challenges of loss of resolution, loss of brightness, fixed position viewing. So all these things are technology barriers that we've had to overcome.
Now, usually most of the 3D that I've seen, I shouldn't say most of it, a lot of it has been glasses free, but most of the, I call it the popular stuff amongst consumers, has been glasses based. So, and you mentioned some of the challenges with autostereoscopic or glasses free technology. Can you briefly elaborate as to how your core technology works?
Well, the key is, of course, it's intellectual property. It's patented, international patents. In fact, our inventor, developer, chief engineer, Jesse Eichenlaub, has, I believe, 30 international patents on the technology, which is centered on working behind the screen using a timed multiplexed backlight technology. So this is a way of lighting the screen in sequences, side by side, above, below, frame sequential, lots of different ways to generate the right-left view. But we do it in a way that is, we believe, has the clearest path to developing uncompromised 3D viewing.
Well, what I liked about what I've seen here today, and we're going to talk about each station that we have in this room, is that the technology gets better and better each time, and you're going somewhere with this, I'm sure. Why don't we talk about that first station where you're standing up? How does that work?
Sure, that's a kiosk that's called off-axis view. So we've said it's fixed point viewing, but what we wanted to do was to show that we could develop 3D that had great lift off the screen, so that the image would actually rise above. You could almost reach out and touch it. There's a dinosaur that comes up and practically bites you in the nose, and so the idea there was that by setting a fixed point at 45 degrees and using the backlighting technology, we're able to project up. But again, we were kind of, limited by resolution issues and, of course, the fixed point viewing, which has become obviously one of the key obstacles that we're trying to overcome as we've developed these technologies.
Yeah, I mean, I could speak to it. I got some footage of the demo with our 3D camera, so I could almost see it from the point of view of someone who actually is seeing in 3D through the camera, and very impressive. The one challenge, as you state, is that you have to be fixed. I mean, you have to. There's that sweet spot, and if you get out of that sweet spot, the image falls apart. But then when you're there, it's quite crisp, very nice. So then you have a second station here as well. What's happening at this? It's a computer monitor. How would you describe it?
Okay, yes, that's what we call our 19-inch 2-view. And that is a development in technology that eliminates a lot of the challenges of resolution. We believe it's bright, crisp, clear, full resolution, 3D. It still has a fixed point viewing, as our CEO likes to describe it. You're kind of looking through a diamond, and you can move forward and back and kind of dial it in, but again, you're still kind of limited in terms of range of motion. You'll get flicker and a little bit of moire as you go from side to side.
What impressed me here was I brought some games up because when I heard that you could do side-by-side, which is something we use DDD's tri-def ignition drivers, which have that side-by-side output. We were playing Skyrim, Left 4 Dead. It looked quite good, but again, you had that challenge where, if you moved out of that fixed spot, the image would fall apart. But then, if you were there, it was quite good.
We thought the depth and the realism, the actual visual representation of the game itself was beautiful. But again, the fixed head, restricted sweet spot, no head movement is going to be a limitation for gamers because it's just going to be too limiting, and but like as you were describing before, the whole gamer experience has got to be real time, no loss of image on the edges. You want to be able to see everything and react to everything in real time. And again, if we can allow that gamer to move, it's just going to be a more liberating experience.
So this is, remind me, just to give me a time frame, how old are these prototypes?
Okay, so some of these will go back to I think 14 years ago, about the late 1990s, early 2000s. The 2-view, though, is one of the more recent technology, 2007, I believe. And then we have some iterations that go beyond that, where we're expanding the number of views that we're producing so that we can get greater lateral movement, the side-to-side movement, and that's the next station that we're going to talk about.
Yes, right here. What could you tell us about how this is put together?
Okay, so this is a 5-view, and the whole idea here is that we have, now again, we're still working in trade-offs, because when we create the liberty of moving side to side and still maintaining very nice, clean 3D projection, we are losing a little bit of resolution. And so, this is, again, the path we're on, though, is now we're going to be having a brighter emitter. We believe that when we are ready to bring a commercially available gamer system to the market, it will be in full HD 1920 by 1080p. We will have no restriction in head movement for 2 viewers at the same time.
Okay, so why don't we talk about that next iteration? So I know DTI has big plans around this. Please share.
Okay. We have been in development now for a number of years, but we are working very closely with NASA, and we just cleared an important phase gate with them, where we demonstrated on a smaller size screen the ability to have unrestricted head movement, no fixed sweet spot, full resolution. And we believe that we can adapt that technology now and come out with a version for gamers that will, especially PC enthusiast gamers, I would say, is the core market that we're going after. And so we intend to go to Kickstarter and ask for the PC gamers to basically take a look at our technology, take a look at the path, and hopefully they will be very enthusiastic with their support, because we believe we're going to bring something to PC gaming that just has not been heretofore available.
Now, I know for myself, I tried out what you have here. Some of the arguments against glasses free is and I think it's a little bit of a myth that you can't have out-of-screen experiences. But I take it the opposite is true. And when I say pop-out, that's what I'm referring to.
Oh, absolutely. And we believe that we have pop-out that you heretofore, no glasses-free technology has been able to get the amount of lift off the screen that we've been able to. We believe it's the equivalent of what people are seeing through glasses, and whether active or passive. And
the timing, I imagine, is very good for something like this, because through side by side with products like DDD's TriDef, you could have like hundreds of games supporting stereoscopic 3D, provided, of course, this product is released.
And Neil, I think that's a great point. I think this is a technology that has been working at the fringe, the bleeding edge of technology, if you will, for the last 20 years. Obviously, people like NASA and and their interest in both aerospace and aeronautic safety has been a constant support for the development of the technology. But in the last, say, I think 6-7 years, with the advent of very high-end 3D movies, and of course with the 3D-ready gaming, the stereoscopic-ready games, new titles, lots of new excitement in terms of the amount of people that are developing games that will project and play well in 3D, we think that we now have a technology that is going to intersect the market at a really good place.
So the big question that I think our viewers and our readers are going to ask is how? And so I gather this is a lenticular-based technology. Am I correct?
There is a lenticular involved. Unlike some of the other approaches, though, it's not on the surface of the LCD screen. We've actually embedded it. It's sandwiched in between the backlight and the diffuser. We believe this gives us greater resolution, that we're not filtering, we're not blocking light. So we're pumping light through the lenticular to the diffuser and then to the LCD. That's a significant difference for the technology.
And I gather these displays could be both traditional 2D as well as full stereoscopic 3D as well?
Well, and that is one of the beauties of what we'll be bringing to the Kickstarter edition, is it will be 2D, 3D switchable with just the push of a button. Typically we use F2, F3 to switch from 2D to 3D. So if you're watching, you could be watching TV, you could be playing a game, you could be watching a movie, and when the movie's 3D, you can be watching it in 3D. When you want to switch to TV and watch in 2D, it's all just a push of a button. You have a very versatile display that will produce what we believe is going to be a very high-end PC gaming 3D experience.
Now, what I'm hearing is that you're going to have full resolution 1080p. You're going to have, will there be crosstalk? Will there be ghosting issues with this release?
We believe that this will be our most uncompromised version of a 3D display. Will there be artifact? Those are obviously the challenges that we have to overcome. We believe that the path we're on with NASA, though, is going to be the resolution to those issues, and we'll be developing or delivering an uncompromised 3D display.
Let me rephrase the question. So glasses are very popular, especially shutter glasses, because you get full resolution, you get full motion, there's no sweet spots. Will this be directly competitive with glasses-based technologies? What are the big advantages that you see?
If we hit our spec, then we believe that we will have an equivalent, if not superior, solution to glasses-based 3D. And we believe that gamers will like the freedom of just not having to wear glasses while they're participating in their favorite games.
I was actually intrigued. You see, usually with glasses-based technologies, for gamers, not for televisions, but usually gamers, it's usually one-to-one. Maybe you could have a second pair of glasses, but that's not very popular. It's usually one player per monitor. In this case, with glasses-free auto-stereoscopic, I was intrigued that you're going to, so you really could have two people sharing this one display. Is that the goal?
That is the goal, and we will be using some form of head tracking. So as you know, that's been a very, very common public domain technology now. And so we will embed tracking cameras that will fix on viewer 1's eyeballs and viewer 2's eyeballs, and we will be able to, each player will be able to move and see 3D unencumbered.
Do you anticipate, with the head tracking, do you anticipate any latency issues or performance delays because of it?
No, we believe that our refresh rates will be working in 120 hertz. We'll be working at a spec of 8 milliseconds or faster. So we believe that everything will be happening in microseconds, imperceptible to the human eye.
So one of the biggest challenges in 3D, usually the glasses are credited as being a handicap for 3D. Either people don't like to wear them or they critique them. What are your thoughts on this? Do you see this as opening up the 3D market in a way before not possible?
Well, short answer is yes, we do. We think we're bringing something here to the 3D market that creates just another level of freedom. I mean, this is, again, you don't need unencumbered by glasses. You can be just watching from your living room chair. You can be in close watching, playing your PC game. But you could be walking by in a retail store and have 3D imagery. I mean, this is a whole new frontier for delivering 3D viewing experiences in a number of different areas.
Excellent, excellent. So your next step, I take it, is the Kickstarter. What can you tell us about the Kickstarter?
Okay, well, we want, of course, everyone on MTBS 3D to stay tuned, because we will be launching our Kickstarter campaign probably within 30 days of this interview, and if not sooner. So we want everyone, of course, to check it out. We want you to, understand the history of the company, understand the path that we've been on, understand the close working relationship we've had with NASA, and how close we are now to delivering a true glasses-free, full HD 3D experience. When this Kickstarter takes place, do you envision people actually buying these glasses-free 3D monitors as part of the Kickstarter? Do you envision them actually getting this glasses-free experience once the Kickstarter is complete? Yes, and of course, like all Kickstarter campaigns, we'll accept pledges at every level. Any dollar will be greatly appreciated. But we will be giving Kickstarter pledgers the opportunity to pledge at a level that will get them one of the first glasses-free 3D DTI displays in the first quarter of 2015. Very good, very good. Well, thank you so much for joining us, Tom. All right, thank you, Neil. I really appreciate you coming down today. This is Neil Schneider for MTBS-TV at DTI's headquarters. Thank you for watching.